Well, Barry, you said you wanted your side to be super competitive today. They've been exactly that. How pleased are you with what you've seen?
Yeah, well, obviously really pleased. 15 minutes in and we were 3-0 up. I was, they couldn't have. I thought the players were excellent, and all of the message that we said about just being really progressive and play forward and run forward, and all the things that we are good at. When you see a really good Cambridge United performance, you see that type of performance. So it was just basic instructions, and I thought the players deserve all the credit.
There's been a lot of talk about confidence of late. No lack of that in the opening half. In fact, the opening 13 minutes was a dream start. The 3 goals.
Yeah, if you just have the intention to be really front foot and from the outset and to be really aggressive, then you maybe get a little bit of confidence from that when your first thought is always positive and to go forward. So again, just great credit to the players, really.
A former striker yourself, you would have been pleased with all 3 goals.
Yeah, brilliant. I thought all the front players. Fajiri was a real problem when he was on the pitch. He was outstanding. I thought Katcha was brilliant in a 10, linked the game well, ran forward well. Soleil was unplayable. He was class. He just he caused them so many problems, and James Brophy as well. There's a lot of pace in them 4 players. There's a lot of they're really technical players as well. So there's real firepower at the top end of the pitch.
You mentioned Elias Kachunga obviously got his goal and had a big hand in everything, really. Is in that number 10 role. I think we've only seen him play that role once before since he's been at the club. Do you think that's his best position?
I think he's probably a player that can play a few positions. I would say that number 10 is his position. I think it's when he's at his best. I think he's very clever. He links it really well. He understands kind of press and triggers. Understands when to link and when to run beyond. And I say he was awesome today.
Yeah. There was only one sort of downside with the first half. Fajiri Okunabiri, coming off with looked like either a hamstring or a hip injury. What's the situation there, Barry?
Well, actually, they've got the medical team, and we're really quick. He's already gone for a scan, so we can wait on that. Again, I can't really tell you. To be fair, he was already gone before they managed to book him in really quickly. So he'll have that scanned and maybe give you news for that next week.
I mean, what was the message to the players at the half time? Obviously, you're 3-0 up and you're very, very comfortable. Is it just a case of make sure no complacency creeps in, get that 4th goal as quick as you can?
Yeah, a little bit of that. It's funny because we went 3-0 up so quickly, and then the game kind of the score kind of. The circumstances dictate what the game looks like in loads of ways, and maybe we went a bit scrappy for the last 10 or 15 minutes of the first half because all of a sudden we're 3-0 up, and instead of taking a touch and passing it, we're just clearing things, and we're not being as progressive as we were at the start because I guess we don't need to be. And then that was really what I said at half time, is still finding your moments to bring control and to have, still do what we're good at instead of just seeing out the game. But they managed it. I think it was fairly comfortable in the second half, and it was really obviously nice to get a 4th goal as well.
It obviously, because Hannah had me getting on the end of that one, and kind of makes up for the penalty miss in the first half, which a lot of questions about perhaps.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I'd say I'd never want to. I don't know, when players are creative players, you don't want to take anything away from them. So yeah, it's one of those things. You want them to score. He could have missed it if he tried to blast it. So one of those things.
You were pleased with the clean sheet as well?
Yeah, really pleased, obviously. Yeah.
In terms of the application of the players today, obviously, it's been a difficult week for them. You said on Thursday that they were shocked and upset with obviously Mark departing. How pleased are you with the way that they've applied themselves today? Yeah,
well, look, it's a real obvious question, and they were brilliant today. They won 4-0. So we'll just keep, that's the levels, that's the standard that they're capable of. That's what they have to produce every day. I talked about before the game. I said about winning, that sometimes you're in the changing room before games and everybody's shouting, we need to win today, we need to win. But when you focus on that outcome, you can get a little bit lost. So I told them not to talk about winning or think about winning. I said, but talk about doing all the things that make you win, all the processes. So centre halves just being really competitive and winning duels, and wide players getting at fullbacks and getting crosses in the box, and all of the things the processes that lead to the outcome, and that was the focus of it. And then generally when you do them things, you end up on top. So I thought that's what it was today.
Obviously, a difficult week has now ended on a high, Barry, and aside of the obvious in terms of getting through to the third round and obviously the prize money there, how important was it to win today for the belief around the place?
It's been because Bonza's been he's such a big figure for the club, and he's so important to the club, and everybody really is very fond of him. There was a really strange atmosphere, and people were shocked and upset about it. But I've said this already: it's like football, just it happens quick, and you just got to get yourself going again, and that's it. I think they've begun the process of looking for the next person to come in, but I think it's been like informal talks. So I'd imagine that there'll be like formal interviews in the week, and we might have to do this for another few days. But someone will be in soon, and they'll take on a good team.